Hi everyone and welcome to day 6. So today we're going to be balancing energy. So we're going to be integrating the states of being more activated and then being more settled. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to be doing some tapping. So when we do this, all we're doing is feeling the sensation of tapping. You don't need to have a certain script in your head for this. So we're just going to start on the knife edge of the hand. So just tapping, noticing what that feels like. And maybe you can hear it as well. So really just going into the senses here. Okay, and then tapping just above the eyebrows. And again, now if you don't like tapping, you can just press and hold and breathe. But if you're comfortable with tapping, stay with that. And then just below the eyes on the cheekbone, tapping, or you can press and hold. And then to the smile lines. And then right above the lip, again, just paying attention to sensation, the feel of it, the sound of it. And if your eyes are open, you can also just pay attention to the hand moving. Okay, so we're just noticing sensation here. Okay, and then moving to the collarbones, just below the collarbones, and tapping. Just noticing that sort of rhythmic sound and sensation. Okay, so staying with that. Maybe a yawn comes in, that can be a sign of your nervous system settling. Then moving to the center, just tapping on the sternum. Again, this could also be breathing, and just go lightly here, as it can be a bit sensitive. And then we're gonna just move to the lower ribs. So just anywhere, just tapping, noticing what that feels like. Okay, nice. And now let's just let that settle. So it's important after we do an exercise to notice and let it integrate. So just noticing what the body feels like. Feel the bum on whatever you're seated on. Feel the hands maybe resting on the legs. Feel the legs or the feet resting on the ground, depending on how you're seated. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some bilateral tapping. So we're just going to cross the arms. And we're just going to bring in some rhythmic tapping. So one shoulder and then the other. You can also do this on the chest. So you choose what you want to do. Okay, so just noticing that feeling. And as we do this, bring to mind maybe a place in nature that you like to go, that you like to be. Maybe there's a big tree you could imagine yourself sitting under and resting as it supports you. Maybe imagining the sights, the sounds. Maybe there's a light breeze on your skin. I'm just staying with that. Okay, and then letting that rest. And then we're going to move into a bit of pendulation. So balancing between activation and settling. So just taking a moment to find something in the body that's a bit tense, okay? And if you're not feeling tension anywhere, you can create tension in the body however you want to do that. You could shrug the shoulders, you could squeeze the hands. But for a lot of us, there'll be tension existing somewhere in the body. So just scan the body, the neck, the chest, abdomen, the hips, the arms, and notice where you find tension. And even if it's just a little bit, and then just noticing where that is, maybe noticing the outline of the body in that area, the temperature of that area, and just allowing it to be there. We don't have to change anything. It exists for a reason. So just noticing it and allowing it. Noticing where the tension stems from, sensationally, like where does that tension, that tense sensation begin? Just noticing that. And then moving to the part of the body that feels loose. And maybe you want to create some looseness. Often the hands, the feet, sometimes the forearms. I really like the knife edge of my hands. That usually feels really loose. The earlobes also feel loose often. Just noticing that and noticing the outline of that loose area, where that looseness or relaxation stems from. Excuse me. Noticing the temperature there. And maybe we go back to that nature spot that we were thinking of when we were tapping back and forth. Notice if that deepens that relaxed, looser area. And just tracking if a breath comes in, the body settles a little bit more. Sometimes pleasant tingling will happen as well, and that's a sign of the nervous system coming online and relaxing and being present. Okay, so noticing that loose area and then dragging the attention back to that tense area. And just noticing, is anything different? Is it the same? Where are those edges and outlines, their texture? Has it changed at all? Okay, and then dragging the tension back to the relaxed area. And again, noticing the outlines, noticing the temperature, where that relaxation stems from in the body. Okay, and this practice can be really helpful when you're feeling anything uncomfortable, going between what's tense and what's relaxed. Okay, and then if the eyes were closed, just opening the eyes. And the last thing we're going to do is just a little bit of vagus nerve activation, which helps us come into our parasympathetic state or our ventral vagal state. So we're going to create a little bit of a curve in the spine. You're going to wrap your hand. So if we bring the curve kind of out to the right and then take the right arm and wrap it around the left. Okay, so just feeling that hand. And then taking the left hand, we're just going to stretch really gently. We're going to stretch the neck a little bit. And then we're going to take the eyes and we're going to look up. And we're just going to stay here for about 30 seconds. Nothing should hurt. Sometimes I find I need to relax my eyes a little bit. Okay, and then just relax that. Come back into neutral. And notice how you feel. And then we're going to go the other way. So bringing the spine out to the left, and then taking the left arm and wrapping it around the right side. Okay, so our vagus nerve runs through this area. So we're giving it a little pressure, a little activation. And then our right hand will come to the top of our head. Really, really gentle pressure here. We don't want a deep stretch. And then we're going to look up and hold that for about 30 seconds. Noticing the breath. Okay, and then letting that go. Come back into neutral slowly. And I want you to just take a look around your space. Notice a few things in your environment. You can even say them in your head. Hello picture, hello chair, hello candle, hello lamp. I'm just taking in the space. Maybe you want to look at the roof. And that is everything for today. I'll see you tomorrow for day 7, rest and restore. We're almost there. And I hope you're just taking a note what works for you and what really settles your system. See you tomorrow. Bye.